How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Crystalline. Alright, last time we had the fun time we had in the onsen, the hot spring, whatever you want to call it. Oh, that was interesting. That was funny because, like, I had an issue, remember back to, I mentioned before, I had an issue with this episode. Originally, what was going to be episode 12, I had a big problem where I lost all the audio, I had to re-record it. And in the re-record, I discovered an entire sequence of events that I completely just skipped over last time. And so that was like the entirety of last episode. So now, we still are in the part where I covered last time, although just a little bit left to do. But we're going to have this exploration of the Sky Temple, or at least we're going to try and get there. We're going to go up there with Leanna because in order to jump from island to island, like, Leanna only has the power to bring herself and maybe somebody else. Obviously, also, I don't think she's planning on bringing me just under my own power. Should be able to use a little bit of my own magic, too. But we'll talk about all that on that when we get up there. But, hey, so, I guess anything else? Nah, I think this pretty much all covers it. Just like, we're moving on, we're trying to investigate the temple, and we'll return to the other guys when we get back. So, I don't know, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. Let's just jump right into it. Alright, so Leanna and I travel up the slope in silence. After a while, I glance back and feel uneasy when the rest of our party members are no longer in sight. As we continue to travel upward, I feel my ears pop. Just how high up are we? We finally reach the pinnacle point of the mountain. The aisles are closer and look even more impressive. It actually does look pretty cool. Like just that concept of, like, the floating aisles. Like, it's a fun idea. It really would make it makes a very gorgeous, like, mental and physical picture. The closest aisles look deceivingly close, but I know that if I tried to jump without a boost of magic, I'd never make it. The breeze ruffles my hair as I step closer to the edge. I look down and down and down. My chest tightens. That is a very long drop.
Don't worry, we're not going in that direction.
Oh, well, that's a relief. Leanna gives me a reassuring smile. I feel slightly better, but my stomach is still in knots. I glance up at the first aisle. How are we going to do this? Leanna sprints past me and effortlessly jumps high in the air. She lands gracefully onto the platform. Aw, that sounds so nice. No matter how many times I've watched Leanna use magic and augment physical skill, it never ceases to amaze me just how awesome it is.
Your turn. Take a running start and jump. I'll boost you over.
Oh, man. So, I normally would, like, I don't know. I think this is just, this just probably counts, right? Normally I don't voluntarily say I'm afraid of heights, but I think I kind of am. But there's a difference. Like, I'm weird. Well, I guess I'm not too weird. I think a lot of other people would agree with me. At least a little bit to this. But, like, I'm not afraid of heights if I feel like there's a reasonable resistance of safety. So, like riding a roller coaster, they strap you in, you know, you buckle your seatbelt. That makes me feel comfortable with the roller coaster. Visiting the Grand Canyon when I was younger, we went to a section where there was like a handrail or a fence, and I'd feel really great. The instant we visited a section where it was just like dirt trail and then cliff, where it just dropped into nothingness, and that was just it, I would get really, really nervous, and I would honestly, I would keep well back away from the edge, just because I would get a lot of fear involved. And it's funny because, like, the handrails or, like, the guardrails I would see out of the Grand Canyon often weren't going to be able to actually save me if something happened. You know, I'm talking like just like a piece of, like a metal bar that's kind of like hanging up just a little bit next to the edge. There's like, or in a roller coaster, like, if the seatbelts were to fail, or even if someone would go on a roller coaster, even with a seatbelt on, you'd still probably be in a very big danger. But for some reason, that idea or that concept of, like, taking something and giving it a safety harness, like, for some reason it's so comforting for me. And that's probably why I'm not like a nervous flyer or anything. Like, I've got seatbelts, like, it feels safe, even though it's like not in any way. I don't know. This right here, I'd feel pretty confident up until this point, and I would probably turn into a little puddle and be like, I don't know if I can do this. Alright, so take your turn. As I look at the massive gap between the edge of the first aisle, my knees become shaky and weak. Yeah, that'd be me. What if I really do fall? Well, throw caution to the winds and say I trust her, because I think I really do. Like, I'm sure if she weren't confident, we'd know. She's not a great liar. I've believed in Leanna so far, no reason to doubt her now. I close my eyes and recompose myself. This is going to be quite literally a leap of faith. I step a few paces back and get ready for a sprint. Ready?
Yep.
Here goes nothing! I dash towards the edge and jump with all my strength. I feel a powerful gust of wind that lifts me high into the air. Whoa! In one smooth motion, I make it onto the platform with the breeze softening my landing. My heart is racing.
You okay?
That was awesome. Leanna looks surprised, then giggles.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, yeah, let's do it. We walk across the aisle and position ourselves to jump to the next one.
All right. You're going to try this next jump with your own magic channeling.
Oh, yeah, so we're jumping right to the difficult stuff, huh? It's like, yeah. You know, we managed to do the jump last time. Now, use your own magic and try not to die. My blood runs cold. My magic? Leanna nods.
I know you can do it. You just have to use the wind
she's
like a
so cute.
springboard and you'll fly right over.
And I can't argue with a face like that.
Find the spot that you're going to take off from and conjure a powerful gust of wind from there as you jump.
Right. Leanna speaks encouragingly, trying to calm my nerves.
Don't worry. If it doesn't work, I'll help.
Well, that's a relief. I look at the next aisle.
Just remember what we've practiced. You'll be fine.
Oh, man. I nod and prepare a running start. I use the wind as a springboard. Right, I can do that. I suck in a deep breath. To infinity. And yonder! Non-copyright infringement yonder. I dash ahead and force myself past my nerves and focus my mind on my manipulator. I start to drop as my feet drop to the ground, leave the ground, but I try to push through the fear and focus on casting. A surge of energy shoots down my arm, my gauntlet glowing and the air swirling up around me, pushing me forward. I let out a startled cry as I fly through the air. I land hard on the next island and feel the wind escape me, but at least I made it over on my own.
That was excellent.
Yeah, great. That was great. Let me breathe. Leanna floats onto the same aisle and lands gracefully on her feet, a wide smile on her face.
You were able to augment your abilities on the first try. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. Her smile is contagious and I grin back. Thanks.
You ready to keep going?
Just dust off a little. Yeah, we'll move on. I nod, now brimming with confidence. Let's go. As one Leanna and I leap and land in the next aisle, and the next, and the next. The first few jumps I try, I float shakily into the air, but the more I cast, the easier it becomes. I hop from aisle to aisle, keeping good pace and making good time. Leanna catches my grin and laughs, sprinting ahead of me. To be fair, this is obviously a fantastic way to be practicing our magic. Like, we've been kind of shaky up until now, so it's really a good improvement for seeing. I smirk to complete that game. I push forward with another surge of magical energy and race ahead of her.
It's like that, is it?
Oh, yes, it is. I think they both me and Leanna have this really strong, like, competitive, but friendly competitive nature. That's something that's actually really rare, I find. Like, it's... I don't know. Finding someone who gets competitive is not super rare, but the ability to keep it pretty friendly at the same time is really, I think, it's kind of a jewel to find, because sometimes people can get like really heated into it. I normally don't get super heated into things, even if I'll get a little competitive and keep it fun, but I usually am like, it's just a game. But there's a few instances where I can just get a little too much. I think the last time I played Mario Party, that happened. Alright, she wears a determined look and a roar of wind soars her overhead. You're on! I leap after her. Oh, alright. Yep, I forgot about this. Memory game. Alright, so remember and repeat the icon pattern. No, super easy so far. Alright, so once again, I'm thinking like my biggest issue, yeah, see, there we go, win. My biggest issue with this isn't that it exists. As a matter of fact, I think it's great that it exists. I still think it needs more flavor context for the situation rather than just like, oh, here's a minigame, play the minigame. So like that could be improved, but I think the other improvement I could see is that like I feel like the challenge rating or challenge level hasn't gone up at all. Like I feel like it'd be pretty impossible for me to actually fail that. And you know, it's a little disappointing. I mean, even in Ace Academy, during the mech battles when I had to make decisions, like what made it so interesting was the timer. Like the timer was really short, like only like 3 seconds, and you only had a split second to choose based on what you felt was appropriate for the situation from a list. But as the game went on, the lists got bigger and bigger and had more and more like dummy or bad reactions. So like, well, at first it was really easy to master. By the end, I actually was really freaking out every time we had a conflict, because you could easily fail and it would alter the way the story was going to end. And I don't know, I feel like it'd be really hard to fail in Crystalline. Anyway, we leave from platform to platform. The whole time I managed to keep pace with Leanna. Her sunny hair whips about her with each jump. Her laugh streams across the clouds, bright and delighted. We race forward, but I can't quite seem to pass her. We finally soar and slide to a stop on the final platform, our shoes flinging up grass and dirt. To be fair, she's like been practicing her whole life. Why would we even think we could beat her? I laugh, the sound of breathless and spiky. My lungs burn as I take in gulps of air. Now that we're finally stopped, I realize how much energy I've used. My muscles ripple with exhaustion. I feel like I could collapse and take a nap right here. Do you mind if we take a quick break? She nods.
That's a good idea. You aren't used to such a heavy energy usage in a short amount of time.
It's comfortable and peaceful as Leanna and I sit down.
It's beautiful here.
Oh yeah. Follow her gaze. It really is. The clouds look as soft as spun sugar. They glide across the blue sky. Dappled sunlight glints off Leanna's white armor. Her hair dances across her face. We watch the sun begin to slowly dip behind the clouds. Oh man. You know, we're pretty lucky we could come up here by ourselves with her, you know? I mean, it's great having everyone else there, but it's kind of nice having just like me and Leanna time.
It's so nice here. It makes me happy.
Aw, happy? She nods.
I don't feel so weighed down here. It's like I'm free.
Like you're free? I mean, aren't you free? I blink at her, curious. Free from what?
Everything. It's just, I don't know. The looming responsibility of the world weighs me down sometimes.
Aw. A small chuckle puffs out of me. The looming responsibility of the world? Leanna blushes.
I suppose it's not the whole world. It's just, there's sometimes so much expectation. From the Mage Guild, from guards and places we visit because of the sigil.
She hesitates for a second.
And from my family. It all gets so overwhelming.
She's always so calm, collected, and upbeat. I guess it's hard to remember that she's human too when she keeps up such a strong facade. She doesn't talk about her family much, and from the way she hesitated when mentioning them just now, I gather their relationship must be pretty strained. Expectations from your family. She pauses, hugs her knees close to her chest.
Well, in this world, a lot of women my age are already married and have children. It's something my family has always wanted for me. Those things, they aren't bad, but it's not something I want to think about right now.
Yeah, like, this is an interesting one, because I kind of have seen a little bit of this. I don't know, and you might have too. If you're, I don't know, if you're in your 20s still, like me, but not at the beginning so much. It's like, as you get further along, you see more and more people doing things like getting married, having kids, doing the family life. You know, I am a perpetrator myself. But I don't know. It's not as common to feel this pressure to like go out and get married. At least I didn't think it was. I felt like that was an older thing, but at the same time, I bet that it is kind of still a thing. And that is kind of odd and frustrating, because it's like you shouldn't have to feel pressured, but like I imagine that you get the whole line. It's just like, oh, if you don't do it now, you might regret it later. Like, what if you can't later? Kind of thing. It's like that's a bunch of baloney. Like, you need to make your life decisions for you. And once again, like Leanna's in a position where it sounds like she's not opposed to the idea of getting married and having a family someday. She's just not sure she wants to do it now. It's interesting. And it's also one of those things where it's odd to like, I don't know, like it's family. Family's tough. Like, even in the best of situations, like doing your own thing against their wishes, it's gonna cause problems. Even though it's the absolute healthier choice to make. I don't know.
I want to explore and see everything. I want to be free.
It makes sense to me. I nod, understanding. Must have been tough to constantly have those expectations on your shoulders. Leanna smiles, but doesn't reach her eyes. She shrugs.
Yeah. I love my family, but we definitely have different views on things.
I was like, well, that's fine. I mean, follow your heart. Do what you want. They'll understand, and I have no doubt they'll still love you, like they should. And if they don't, and if something as simple as that is going to defer them from wanting to care for you, then they're not really being a great family to begin with. I nod. Yeah, of course. There's a pause.
Ever since I joined the Mage Guild, I feel like I can finally breathe. I can look to the horizon and know that I can just go there.
There's another pause.
But all this doesn't matter. I know I'll have to leave the guild one day and fulfill the expectations others have for me. Why even bother doing any of this if it's also fleeting?
I don't know. Like, okay, so she keeps talking about like, sorry, yeah, has to. I mean, is she like noble? Maybe, like that's something I just don't understand. It's like, is it really that far? Maybe it's a culture thing for this world that like, is it so much like you just that is it unacceptable to be able to go and just live a life like you want to? Like, does she have to go back because of like something like specific? Like I said, if it's a noble title, that could kind of make sense. Like, you need stability in the family because your stability is important for the stability of the kingdom and for the hundreds or thousands of people who are like a part of like that jurisdiction. Like, I can see that that involves a lot more responsibility. And that could be even like involving arranged marriages and such. That could be interesting. But if she's just kind of like a part of a normal common family, then I feel like that this idea is being over exaggerated by her family, and that's really unfortunate. I don't know, it sucks. Like, I recently had someone over as a guest at her house, and like we sat down and we were just chatting, and she started talking about some of the things that are going on in her life, involving her boyfriend and her family and issues that they're all having with each other. And it's like I was sitting there and I was like, I really wanted to give advice, and I gave as good advice as I could as a friend, but like I feel like there's like some stuff I can't really touch on, like I can't step in and say like, oh, well, you need to like leave these people behind because they're holding you back, like that. And that's not fair for me to say, even if I like was really close friends with her, like instead of just being like casual friends. You know what I mean? Like, even if things are kind of bad, like, usually it's not so bad that you should tell people to completely abandon their family or their principles, And so it's like, what would you even do for Leanna? Of course, here, I think the most likely answer is just simply to tell her to kind of take it a day at a time. I don't know. Just don't get so caught up in the things that can happen and focus on the things that are happening. Sometimes it's better not to think about what's to come. It's better to just enjoy the moment for how it is. Yeah, okay. I kind of remember the train of thought, but at the same time, like, I 100% agree with that sentiment. It's very, very true. Very well put, too. Leanna blinks.
Enjoy the moment.
I grin and nod. Yeah, just appreciate things for how they are right now. Leanna looks a little confused, but interested. The experiences you have, the memories you make, those aren't fleeting. They stay with you forever. They make you who you are as a person. You get so wrapped up in how you're supposed to live, you forget to actually live.
I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this is very different from like the concept of like I guess you could call it YOLO. You know, like the you only live once, or just like whatever, just do whatever you want because it makes you happy kind of thing. That's a dangerous approach to life in my opinion because like if you don't think about the future and consequences, you could end up setting yourself up for a lot of future pain by making very irrational choices right now. You do need to have your mind set on the future, but you also can't live in the future. If you're constantly focused so much on what is to come, you lose sight of what's really important, what's right in front of your face. And not reassuringly, like today, you're free and able to travel, right? We've been hopping around in the air and it's been fun. And I don't know about you, but when I'm soaring through the clouds, I can't think of anything except how amazing that moment is. That's how you should live every day. Leanna tilts her head, intrigued.
That's an interesting way to view things. But what about the responsibilities you still have?
Let's see, no, I don't care about responsibilities or obligations or no. No, it's a balance. Yeah, I do. I have to get good grades at school, or else I don't graduate, and I have responsibility to honor my parents. But I also have to respect my own dreams for life. I try to take each day one step at a time. It's good that you respect your obligations, but try to push forward with what you wanted for your life. And it looks like she's processing what I said.
Oh, I see.
Besides, no one knows what life's going to throw your way. If someone told me a month ago I'd be in another world talking to a mage knight on a floating isle high in the sky, I'd think they were crazy. That doesn't even sound remotely possible. She chuckles. And yet, here we are. There's just stuff you can't plan for. And those unexpected things that life throws your way, sometimes they end up being better than anything you could have planned for. Freaking-men. I think the most important things that have happened in my life were not planned for in any way. Often came out of nowhere. And sometimes were completely what I thought I wouldn't want. like I would imagine for myself like, oh, this is what I want to do, this is where I want my life to go, and then like the opposite would happen, and it turned out way better than I thought it could ever be. Like not just like, oh, it worked out okay, but like seriously, like why on earth would I have ever tried to do anything different? Like that, like it's just that's just how life is. Our signature smile finally returns. A flock of birds suddenly shoots up into the sky. The movement tosses back our hair, and we watch them fly in silence. Sorry, the movement tosses back our hair, and we watch them fly by in silence.
So, do you have anyone to go back to?
Ooh. What? Like a girlfriend? Leanna's cheeks redden. She nods. Let's see. Alright. I've never had one. Backstory truth. Women totally love me. Like all the time. All of them. Backstory lie. Or I've been with a fair share of women. Backstory truth. Or nothing serious. Backstory truth. Okay. So, me, college. If this was me in college, and my experience with college is like, I'd been in love, but nothing really serious before. Like, my experience pre-college was high school. Ugh. High school, I had a crush. I was crazy about. I went on dates with other people, but never was very serious about it because I just wasn't all that interested. The person I was interested in, I did eventually date, but before I really got into college, we'd already broken up, you know. And, you know, in college, I would continue to date and find a couple people I thought I would fall in love with, but, you know, things happen and you fall apart, and eventually get married. So if I was in this story based on my past and I'm telling the truth, it'd be like, it's interesting because like being with my fair share of women, it's like, yeah, I dated plenty of women. Plenty. Like, funny, it's so funny to me because sometimes I feel like why, like I always felt like so unpopular. But when it came to like the dating scene, I actually had it pretty good. Like, I had a decent number of people who were interested in me. I wasn't really ever struggling to find people to go on dates on. It was struggling to find people to go on dates with who wanted to go on dates with me, who I also wanted to go on dates with. That didn't happen a whole lot, that mesh up of the two worlds. But it wasn't from a lack of. And so my answer is going to be nothing serious, because that's where I was. It's like, yeah, I've been on dates before, but none of it was really all that serious. I've had friends who are women, but nothing serious. Leanna arches an eyebrow.
What does that mean?
Oh, it means I've had friends who were girls, but nothing more than that. That's definitely true for me. My whole life, just lots of friends. And that's the thing. It's like I was like the king of the friend zone, but like it was also voluntary because most of the time I wasn't interested in anything else. So it's like I just had a lot of friends that were girls. Leanna thinks about it and smiles.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
You were thinking it wasn't? What about you? Leanna looks away as she blushes.
I've never been with anyone.
Seriously? I find that hard to believe. Someone like you hasn't been in a relationship.
Someone like me?
I'm charming, smart, hardworking, patient, beautiful. Need I go on? Ooh, putting on the smooth moves, haven't I? Leanna's blush deepens.
You're seriously exaggerating. But thanks.
Aww. She clears her throat and scrambles to her feet before I can ask any more questions.
You ready to go?
I nod, my heart's still pounding. I stand to clear my thoughts. Yeah, let's roll. Woo! We bounce around even more platforms. Takes a lot more work as we soar to them than before, partially because they're further and further apart, and partially because I'm already weary from all the air hopping we did earlier. The sky is painted pink and purple by the time we reach the highest floating isle. We step into the island and look around. The flowers shimmy in the breeze, and in the far corner, the familiar sight of a temple ruin.
This must be it.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. Probably because we can't go any higher anyway. I hear a low groaning sound. What was that?
This must be the entrance.
I follow her gaze to a large open archway. It's too dark for me to tell what's inside. A freezing, moaning wind spirals out and rustles the grass and flowers outside. I shiver. I try to shake off the cold. Alright, I'll go ahead. I walk towards the entrance and the wind howls. It roars and tumbles out the door, pushing me away. I grunt and try to fight my way through, but I'm unsuccessful. Ooh, it must be intense.
It looks like there's a strong gust of wind here to keep people from entering. Let's try springing ourselves forward.
Oh boy, let's try it. I nod. Both Leanna and I take our place. With a running start, we use wind to augment our speed and try and push through. Even though Leanna makes it ahead of me, the wind is too strong and we're both eventually pushed out. Dang.
Here, take my hand.
Huh? What?
I'll slingshot you in.
Oh, interesting. Oh!
If this is where the elemental will be, maybe absorbing the energy will lower this barrier, and I can follow after.
Gotcha. I nod and take her hand.
1, 2, 3.
Here we go. We both dash forward, channeling our energy and push as deep as we can. At the point of overpowerment, Leanna rotates and throws me, slingshotting me forward. And it worked! I fly through the gust and tumble to the temple. Looking back, I can't see her past the darkness. At least that worked. Alright, let's hope there's no traps! I end up in a room filled with crumbling stone and rusted relics. Surprisingly, I stand alone in this room. Where is the elemental? She was always waiting for me at the last 2 temples. Am I supposed to summon her somehow? I take a look around the room. More items are scattered about, but I don't see anything that looks obviously magical. I don't know how to do scans like Leanna and Amy, and the Pongo isn't here to gravitate towards anything with energy. What should I do? Ooh, this looks nice. I step further in. I pause when a pair of inverted eyes appear on top of my vision. With a sharp yelp, I fall back. Aww. A young lady giggles as she floats over. I think it's the air elemental. No way, genius. Instead of imparting me with her power, she merely watches me. You spooked me. Yeah. Hey, you scared me. She giggles. I don't think she understands me, but my animated expression was probably interesting. What should I do? Bring my hand up to my chin. I bring up my hand up to my chin to think. The air elemental blinks and does the same, resting her chin in her hand. Whoa, wait, are you copying me? I slowly wave my hand. After a second, she smiles and does the same. You are, aren't you? I tap the top of my head. She giggles and does the same. She is pretty playful. I make a pointer with my hand and slowly reach towards her. She floats closer and does the same with her hand. Our hands move closer and closer until our fingertips touch. The sensation is something I've never felt before. Although my fingers don't fall through her like an illusion. Although my finger doesn't fall through her like an illusion, I don't feel a physical contact either. Through my fingertip, I feel a tendril of calm, ethereal energy, almost like she's testing me. She smiles, and suddenly a gale storm erupts in the room. It circles around me, whipping my hair and my eyes, but I stay steady on my feet. After the wind envelops me, I begin to channel it into my body. I feel the rush of energy coursing through me. It makes me feel weightless, as if lifting the burdens of gravity from my body. I still wonder, what are the ramifications in the world of all this absorbed energy that we're doing? I mean, sure, no one else could do what we're doing, but why are they doing it? And most importantly, like, what are the effects of this going to be? The stronger and more rejuvenated I feel, the more the elemental begins to fade. Before she disappears, she grins and raises her hand to wave. Thank you. The last thing I see her is a beaming smile and absorb the last bit of energy as she disappears. That was a surreal experience. I start making my way through the tunnel.
Hey!
I see Leanna jog over.
The wind outside disappeared, so I came in here as fast as I could. Did something happen?
Yeah, I found the air elemental. Leanna brings up her manipulator and does a scan.
It seems like you absorbed the energy in here as well.
I nod. Yep, she transferred the energy to me like the other elementals, but the experience was a bit different.
Different?
She was curious about me. Instead of waiting for me in the room to transfer the energy immediately, she started copying my movements, almost like she was playing with me. It was pretty cool. Leanna blinks.
Are you telling me you played a mind game with one of the ancients?
I mean, it's not like I started it. I suppose so. Leanna looks amused.
I'm sure Amy will want to know the details of what happened. To be honest, I'm pretty curious myself.
Aw.
But we've been gone a while now. And now that we've gotten what we came for, we should head back. Agreed.
But first, let's grab a few things.
Oh, right. You did promise Kara.
That's right. Plus, I mean, it just makes sense we're here. We search around the room and decide on a few interesting trinkets and coins to pack up. Once we're all set, we exit the temple. We both pause outside once we see the dazzling sky. It's ablaze with streaks of violet and gold. Even the puffs of clouds passing by are painted lavender and orange, adding to the portrait in the sky. Dang. Ooh, sunsets are gorgeous, but sunset up here in the clouds would be amazing. The colors seem more vibrant so high up here, and the view takes my breath away.
I thought the view was beautiful before, but this is a wonder.
Man, you know what would almost be better? I wonder if the dawn would be really cool to see up here too. We take in the scenery. This is what I meant earlier. Things like creating a memory things like this create a memory that lasts a lifetime.
I agree.
Golden rays shine brightly in the sky as the sun travels beneath the clouds, like one last hurrah from the sun before it sets. I don't know how long we stand here, but before I break the silence. Yeah, we should head back. I turned to walk back towards whence we came, but I'm met with a solid resistance. Huh? I try to walk forward again, but I'm pushed back in place by stiff wind. It's as if I'm entering the temple again. Alright, so, I mean, there's only one person or place or source this could really be coming from. I stumble and try again, but the wind pushes me back. Hey, Leanna, where did this... I turn around, and the words catch in my throat. Her gauntlet glows a pale blue while her face is bright red. Oh, man. I look at her in confusion. Leanna? The wind hooks around my back and guides me gently towards her. Oh, boy. Her cheeks brighten with the glow on her as the glow on her manipulator fades. What's going on? Don't say anything. Just let things happen.
I want to live in the moment.
I mean, needly we forget our little moment we had in training a little while ago, and we're far away from interruptions here. She steps closer to me. Seriously, who dares click this button? No, of course. I feel the same way. Leanna stares up at me with her bright, cerulean eyes. Ooh, interesting. Is that I'm guessing that's the color. My face burns as my heart rate quickens. She's so close. I can smell the intoxicating perfume of her hair, and I feel lightheaded, like I'm under her spell. Yeah. I think I've said this before, but no, like your brain shuts down when you get into situations like this. Like You like someone, they like you. You get your close, intimate moments. Your brain starts shutting off. So it's like you just go through the moment. And it's like being on. It really is like being under a spell. The radiant sunset fades from view as I glance at Leanna. The fading sunlight illuminates her hair like a halo. I reach out a hand to tuck a strand behind her ear. Nice. Smooth and bold. She smiles softly at my touch and looks imploringly at me as she bites her lip. Her sudden confidence melts and I see a hopeful vulnerability in her gaze. Kudos to the writing. Full classic. Only one choice. And... oh, so cute! I wrap my arms around her back and pull her into me. She lets off a soft breath of surprise as her hand rests on my chest. I trace the outline of her cheek with my thumb. Her face turns red and I can feel the heat of her blush, but she doesn't pull away. Instead, she leans into my touch. Ah, it's such a rush to do this kind of it's like you want it, but you're terrified of what's gonna happen to it. There's the fear of like sudden rejection, but there's also the thrill of things actually happening. It's like the first time you hold someone's hand or embrace them for a kiss. It's like there's that. What makes it so wonderful for the first time, I think, isn't so much about the fact that it's happening. It's the fact that like you act in spite of the fear that everything's going to go horribly wrong. You're going to lose the precious thing you've gotten up to at this point. That friendship and connection you have with someone. That's what terrifies us. But it's also what makes this moment so perfect. Because it's like you take that leap of faith, even though you're like, part of you knows you're fine, and part of you knows it's okay. But you have to still take that leap and just go for it. And then the rush of hopefully success. Gently, I begin to close the space between our lips. She tilts her head towards me, her lips apart. Ooh, I can feel her breath and pause just as our noses touch. Oh my gosh, like, just go for it. Just go for it, man. Her breath catches at the electricity of our touch. The air feels thick and charged with energy as we hover so delicately in limbo. It really could be, honestly. We use magic. Her hands trace down my chest and her breathing becomes shallow as she anticipates the meeting of our lips. I feel the fire of her fingers as they trail down my chest. No, just chest twice, but we'll forget that lapse. Slowly her eyes close. Oh yeah, go for it, man. Closing my eyes, I close the gap between us until our lips meet. Oh, it's so cute. In that moment, with the sweet taste of her on my lips, I'm not thinking about home. I'm not thinking about how or why I arrived here. I'm not thinking about the past, or how someday all this might be torn away. I stopped thinking about anything at all. Only her. This is going to cause problems in the future, but who cares, man? Carpe diem. Carpe diem. Breathlessly, we pull back and look at each other. She smiles, and it's more beautiful than the sky above. There's no doubt about it, I'm crazy for this girl. I don't blame you, man. I just realized something. Leanna blinks. This means your Hey There Sailor line has a 100% success rate. Leanna hits my chest playfully.
Really? Are you trying to ruin the mood?
It's what I do. Sorry. Should we get back to kissing?
Just stop talking.
She tugs me close and kisses me again. Aww. I do appreciate like the organic feeling of how this all plays out. You know? I've gotta admit. Like, we've spent so much time together, it kind of makes sense. And it's like, the progression felt realistic, which is something that sometimes dating sims have a hard time with because they have to juggle so much, especially if they do multiple routes. Sometimes it can feel so like forced when in these situations, but that wasn't. Like, genuinely, if she's really been like feeling things for us and we've been feeling things for her, being so far away, like one-on-one, like that was the moment if someone was going to be bold, and they were, which is awesome. Anyway, the world disappears as we share each other's embrace. Once the sun dips low and the sky begins to turn indigo, we reluctantly part. Hand in hand, big goofy smiles on our faces, we begin to head back to reconvene with the rest of our group. Alright, and then we gotta find out, like, you know, are we gonna tell them, or are we gonna try and keep this a secret? There's no way we'd be able to keep this a secret, man. I think we're just gonna have to tell them. The journey back is significantly easier as we are jumping to lower platforms to get rather than higher. Yeah, Amelia's not gonna care. Kara's never gonna let us, like, live it down, of course, but I'm sure she saw it coming freaking a mile away. We make good time traveling back. Even still, we periodically stop just to take in the view again. Take in the view. This is definitely a sight I will never forget. We finally make it back to the tip of the mountain where we started. Uh-oh. I hear a thunderous crack of dischargers in the distance. Leanna and I freeze. What was that? Another boom interrupts me as we hurry down and hear the clang of blades and the sharp crackle of spells. Oh,
Something's wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Leanna runs. I sprint after her. The closer we approach the camp, the clearer the sounds become. The clashing of steel dischargers firing, people yelling. My heart pounds. I urge the wind to propel me faster. Fetch, man. It was so nice and happy a second ago. From here, I can make out Amy, Zack, and Kara surrounded by a group of bandits. Half a dozen of them surround Zack alone.
We have you now, Death Slinger.
Ooh, that's not good. Leanna seems surprised. She mutters under her breath.
Death Slinger?
A wall of flames explodes in the bandits' path. Their attacks will waver as the crackling fire makes them take cover. It takes me a whole second to realize that Amelia cast it.
We have to help!
Of course we do! Amelia wills the flames to climb higher, her face twisted in concentration. Amy, watch out! Amelia spins around.
Ha!
A gale booms across the field, tearing apart grass and flinging up dirt. The bandits go flying.
They've got backup!
Leanna and I leap near our group. She scowls and draws her blade.
Don't just stand there! Get them!
Oh, you guys should have run when you could. I should be used to unexpected things like this by now, but my heart still pounds. I unsheath my sword. Alright, click the matching icon. Okay. Oh, shield. And the swordy sword, and the swordy sword again. Daggers. Daggers. And a shield. See? Piece of cake. Should be a little harder, but whatever.
Is everyone okay?
I hope so. I nod, panting, and survey the damage around me. Zack grabs one of the bandits who's barely hanging on to consciousness.
How did you find me?
Uh-oh. Kara's eyes widen.
Find you?
The bandits stay silent. With a frustrated growl, Zack drops him back down to the ground and grabs another bandit. He takes out his blaster and shoots the bandit he drops. The guy yells as the bolt blasts into him. He faces the new bandit he grabbed.
Talk, or the same thing happens to you.
The bandit spits in Zack's face.
I have nothing to say to you, traitor.
Uh-oh. Zack scowls and punches the man across the face, knocking him out cold.
Traitor?
We hear a shallow laughter turn to face another bandit clutching his side.
No one joins the Cloaked Brotherhood and leaves. You should already know that. Zack Spade.
Huh. Alright, so they definitely know he's they've got his real name.
Cloaked Brotherhood?
Uh-oh. See, okay. I feel like we are now at a very much disadvantage not knowing who the Death Slinger is and who the Cloaked Brotherhood is. Zack walks over to the bandit and kicks him across the face until he finally falls unconscious. Zack searches for any other bandits who might be awake, but no one else is responsive. Suddenly, Kara marches up to Zack with a dagger drawn. Uh-oh. Whoa, what the?
Kara!
You were a part of the Cloaked Brotherhood this entire time?
Hang on, Kara. Kara, they blatantly just said that he betrayed them. Kara's voice is harsh and her eyes only contain hostility. Zack holds her gaze and doesn't flinch.
I am not a part of the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Oh boy. You know, this is not really how I thought our return was gonna be.
Then why did he call you a traitor? How do they know what your name is? Tell me!
Oh. Zack steps closer to her blade, his expression cold and stony.
I already told you, I am not a part of them.
Kara retracts her blade but keeps glaring at him.
How do you even know who the Cloaked Brotherhood are?
Uh-oh. I have a sneaking suspicion that they're a little more involved in her sad story than anything else. Kara's eyes harden to a polished jade. Her voice is flat and cold.
Because they destroyed my only home and family.
Oh, that's not good. She sheaths her daggers and begins to walk away. Amy has stayed silent the entire time, watching the scene unfold, but she tries to stop Kara.
Kara.
Kara stops and gently shrugs out of her grasp.
I need some time to think.
Then she disappears into the trees. Oh boy. Well, yeah, you remember when I was complaining about how Zach was a really flat character? He's not so flat anymore, it seems. Ooh, this is a problem. This is a problem. The air around Zach has become thick with tension ever since the ambush. Kara still hasn't returned. We set up camp without her. Not really sure what to do. Zach stayed secluded from us and leaned against a tree. His hair covers his face. It's been a while. Maybe we should go look for her? Leanna frowns and shakes her head.
It's probably best to give her some space for now.
She's probably right. Still, there's a heavy weight on my chest. I can tell Kara is hurting, but I'm even more confused by what's going on. What was that guild they were talking about?
I'm not too sure. It sounds like a mercenary guild.
I don't know. It sounds more like a guild of assassins to me. Probably not a reputable one considering Kara's reaction. Leanna looks troubled. What's wrong?
They called him the Deathslinger.
Who exactly is the Deathslinger?
He's an infamous mercenary for hire. They say he has a death wish. The Deathslinger would take on missions and jobs that no one else would take on because of how dangerous they were. Anyone crazy enough to do those jobs were said to have no regard for their own life. Somehow the Deathslinger took those impossible jobs and found a way to survive. At the Mage Guild, we were warned that there were certain encounters, or individuals, who if we ran into, we would not under any circumstances engage them. The Deathslinger is one of those people.
And it's probably good he's on our side, right? Leanna shifts uncomfortably.
He has one of the highest body counts out of any mercenary.
Oof. I look at Zach. Maybe a bit rough around the edges, but I know that deep down he cares about people. What if the Deathslinger did? It doesn't sound like Zach at all. But this also isn't the first time we've seen him with bandits after him. When we first encountered him, Leanna mentioned those bandits seemed weird. Was this his mercenary guild chasing him? Can we trust Zach? I mean, hang on. We've not had any reason not to. I mean, sure, he could be like some kind of sleeper agent or something, but like, I don't know. He's never given us a reason to doubt him before now. Leanna hesitates, but Amelia pipes up.
Regardless of Zach's past, it appears his present self is no longer affiliated with the Cloaked Brotherhood
Thank
or
you,
his
Amy.
persona of Deathslinger. He has also not betrayed us thus far.
Amy, good job. I suppose if he really wanted to do us harm, there'd be plenty of opportunities already. Leanna nods deep in thought. Still, I wonder what the guy meant by traitor. Amy frowns pensively.
I have a few theories, although I do not advocate jumping to any conclusions before we have discussed the matters with Zach or Kara. Regardless, his previous time as Deathslinger is something he has attempted to keep hidden as a way to disassociate himself with his past.
Amy, you are just the jewel of this situation. Thank you for being rock steady. Leanna and I nod. Everyone has a past, but how they act in the future, that's important. I hear footsteps. We turn to see Kara finally returning to camp. Zach whirls around. Can't read the expression on his face. Relief? Uncertainty? As she gets closer, notice that her eyes are puffy and pink. It's clear she's been crying. But her expression remains cold. She stops in front of Zach. Man, I was feeling so good! And now, this? I feel like so cold.
Tell me about the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Uh-huh.
What do you want to know?
How did you become associated with them?
Zach pauses. At first I think he's going to refuse to answer, but eventually he does. See, unfortunately, especially because he obviously has kind of developed some kind of feelings for Kara, I was like, we can't afford not to answer. Normally he would never answer, but in this situation, how can he not?
They gave me my mission to silence a target. It was a part of their initiation.
Kara inhales sharply.
So you were looking to join them?
I can't see her face, but by her voice, I can tell she's angry and disgusted. Zach nods. Kara's frown deepens.
That was before I knew what they were all about. When I went to carry out the mission, That's when I found out the truth. My target was an ex-member of the Cloak Brotherhood. The rule is, the Brotherhood is for life. This person didn't want to kill anymore, and he ran away. He was being hunted but had evaded the Brotherhood for years. When they finally found him, he was living a simple life in a small village with a wife and 2 kids.
Uh-oh.
The mission was to kill him and everyone close to him, and to send a clear message for anyone else who would want to leave the Brotherhood. That was my initiation.
But what happened? You're talking like you didn't join them, but they're acting like you did.
I know my target killed people. Probably innocent people too, since he was part of the Brotherhood. But his family was innocent. Their only crime was knowing him. I've never killed innocent people before, and I wasn't going to start then.
I risk a glance over my shoulder. Kara's arms are crossed, but she keeps still listening.
When I found my target, I warned him of my mission and told him I would cover him so he and his family could escape. I knew the others who joined me in my mission would kill me if they knew I'd betrayed them, so I took them out before they could get me. And then I let my target go free.
Okay, well, it sounds like you did a good thing then.
Once the Cloak Brotherhood found out I didn't complete the mission and help the target escape, I knew they would start hunting me. I tried to get away and stayed in hiding for as long as I could.
Kara finally lets out a loose sigh. The tension unwinds from her body. She slumps a little. She seems to believe Zack. Zack looks directly at Kara.
But they are a very covert guild who deal in secrets. How do you even know of the Cloak Brotherhood?
Her voice is thick with tears. I can tell she's trying to hold them back. Dang.
My dad was one of their targets. He had stumbled into some information when he was working as a treasurer's assistant. He reported it to the treasurer, who had been corrupt and sought to silence him.
Uh-oh.
We escaped, but our life was never the same. We had to move from city to city and never stayed in one place for longer than a few days. My dad would be gone for hours, sometimes even days at a time. But no matter how long he was gone, I was never really afraid because I always knew he'd come back for me.
Until I didn't.
Until one day, he didn't. I knew something had happened to him, but I had no way of finding him. I spent my life trying to figure out what had happened. I dug into as much as I could. The treasurer, what it was, who called the hit, everything. I found out it was the Cloaked Brotherhood who did it, but there was no more information I could gather on them. They cover all of their tracks.
Oh, man.
I'm not sure if he's really dead or not. I've tried to come to terms with it.
But you want closure.
She nods. Zack pauses and surveys her for a moment.
I know their base of operation. They have a ledger there that keeps records of all the jobs. So even though this happened years ago, you could still find your answer.
That's a bit of a bold move, though. Kara's back straightens. There's a glimmer of hope in her eyes.
But do you really want to know the truth? It might not be the answer you want to hear.
Kara's jaw clenches. Her eyes are aflame with determination.
Yes.
Zack nods. Kara's expression softens.
I'm sorry for jumping to conclusions earlier. I just haven't heard the name Cloaked Brotherhood in so long, and as soon as I heard it...
It sounded freaking standable. She looks down.
I understand.
I won't be able to concentrate knowing there's finally a lead I can pursue about my dad. As much as I don't want to, I'll have to leave the group.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we could help a little. I mean, I'd definitely be down for it. She turns away, but Zack grabs her arm.
I'm coming with you.
Kara's eyes widen.
What?
I've been running from my past for long enough, but enough is enough. They'll never stop searching for me, and the longer I run, the more I put others at risk.
Okay. He gestures at Amy and the rest of us.
I don't want to be the one that puts all of us in danger. I'd never forgive myself if I let them hurt the ones I care about most.
Dang, holy crap, I didn't know you cared that much. He looks into Kara's eyes, his cheeks flushed with a small smile graces her lips.
I guess we'll both be leaving then.
Looks like it.
When they turn around and approach us, Leanna's already standing up, smiling expectantly.
So, where do we go next to take care of the Cloaked Brotherhood?
Kara freezes, her mouth agape.
What?
What? You didn't think we were listening? It's not like you were trying to be that quiet.
You said you guys are going to take care of that guild, right? What's our next step?
Zack and I are going to go alone.
You are so silly. Amy shakes her head.
If your description of the Cloaked Brotherhood is accurate, then this mission will have a greater chance of success with the aid of the entire group.
Zack crosses his arms.
Absolutely not. It's too dangerous.
I believe my combat abilities as a mage caster have been proven on numerous occasions.
And as a mage knight and an active member of the Mage Guild, I have been trained for dangerous missions such as this.
Kara looks at me.
But what about collecting energy to help him get back home?
They look expectantly at me. It's really not so bad here. I've been starting to have a lot of fun here in Terra. I still miss my friends and family back home, but there's a lot more I could learn here too. Plus, there are a few things here on Terra than Earth that doesn't have. I mean, I'm not ready to give up my magic just yet. And I'm certainly not ready to give up traveling with you guys. So this is a detour we have to make, and I'm all in. Kara is at a loss for words.
I'm not sure what to say.
Boy!
Yes, Pongo's here! Wait, Pongo's with us, we got this. We all glanced in surprise at the Pongo. See? Even the Pongo wants to go. He nuzzles Kara's legs, gives Zax the tentative look when he returns his look with a stony gaze. Mustering up his courage, he scoots over to Zack and nuzzles his leg briefly, and then races back to the safety of my legs. Zack's expression is not harsh as he watches the Pongo.
If this is what you guys want to do, I'm not gonna stop you.
Kara looks like she's about to say something, then changes her mind and shakes her head, a smile spreading across her lips.
Thanks, you guys.
Oh, come on, it's fine. You guys had our backs too. The tension in the air disperses, and things start to feel like they're back to normal. Leanna and Kara share wide grins, and even Amy looks positive.
Let's get going then.
Alright, I stifle a yawn, which Kara notices.
Hold on, Zack. It's already nighttime and we don't have a plan formulated. I think we can afford one extra day to set everything out.
Leanna nods.
Let's sleep on it and decide what our next steps will be in the morning.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Sounds good to me.
So what are we gonna do with all these bandits, by the way? Or are we just going to just, like, you know... Zack heads to the bedroll, the rest of us filter into our bedrolls too. I gradually fall asleep, and the last embers of the fire die down and snuff out. Ooh, well, things are taking a bit of a turn. See, I like this. I have an actual antagonist now. Ooh, interesting. Oh, that's where we're going to have to stop here. So, ooh, I'm very much excited about this episode and anytime in the next one. So I was like, ooh, I wonder what on earth this is going to like bring up now. Oh, what kind of adventure this is going to be. I wonder how long it'll take us to do this too. I'm guessing it won't be too bad, but I'm excited. So what do you guys think about this episode? So we had a lot of talk about romance and about like the meaning of love and the meaning of like of life, really. Just we got very, very deep this episode. I had an amazing interaction / date / final like real like openness about our feelings for each other with Leanna. Awesome. And then the very abrupt turnaround with Zack. Holy crap. But man, that's pretty cool. And it sounds like it's so interesting. So like they're going after him so adamantly because he like failed his initiation. It's interesting. I'd love to know more about that story. I hope we get to explore more about like why he was interested in them to begin with, if they turned out to be so bad. I don't know. And now we're gonna go and assault the base of a dangerous group of a nest of assassins / mercenaries. Like I can't possibly go wrong, can it? Just from above, I'd be terrified, but it's Crystalline. I'm sure we'll be fine. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did, and heck, maybe you enjoyed it even more. So, what are your thoughts about how everything played out? And I guess what was it like? What's it been like when you've been dating people and you know you had that first like kiss or the first holding hands? Like, was it a little electric for you as like the game portrays? Because mine certainly felt that way, but I've always wondered like what other people's experiences have been. If you feel comfortable sharing it, I'd love to hear from you. Just kind of, you know, share these experiences more and more. And heck, maybe you're still looking for love, like you're like the love of your life, and you know, maybe, I don't know. I doubt I can give you any advice or anything, but we could at least talk about stuff. I don't know. Love's interesting, but Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here, for being part of the channel. It really means a lot that you actually spend your time watching this with me and exploring the game together. And I hope to continue to bring you back for more and more, for more adventures through Crystalline and just more topics to discuss. And plus, plenty of other visual novels, so hopefully you'll check those out too. So until the next video you watch with me or if you see me in next, I'll see you there.